In the words of Argentina, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast Room 303. I'm your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This is my co-host, Nicholas Moorhan. And as always, we have with us Ulysses Kane. How are you doing this evening, Nick?
Say hi to the camera, dummy. Come here. Say hi to the camera. There he is. There he is.
For those of you listening on
say something into the camera.
Your typical podcast platforms, you just lick the microphone.
He's trying to eat the mic. All right, go away.
You're missing the first appearance of one Ulysses S. Kane. You know what the S stands for.
For a second, slobbering hound. I'm good, man. I apologize to those of you out there who are now going to have to listen to this podcast with me shooing away this beast of an animal that I've gotten. But I got a new puppy. He's 11 weeks old. He's an English Mastiff. His dad is 260 pounds. His mom is 210 pounds. And he's as
all
Jermaine,
suck.
And yeah, he's all suck and no go. As Jermaine saw pre-show, he already has a fucking attitude. So,
just like everyone in your life,
just like everyone in my life.
So today's episode 161, we're gonna go ahead and get into pop culture pick'em. It's top 5 things. Oh shoot! I put you want to do in 2023 on here, but that's incorrect. The actual pick tracker sheet has the correct title. Top 5 things to look forward to in 2023. Again, that's the wrong one. Top 5 countries without extradition.
Yeah.
Finally. I'm reading real well. I'm reading.
Your reading is great.
And we'll get into the World Cup review for this episode. It's going to be a little light in the pants like Nick, but no big deal.
Listen, I never was a lineman. I was always a sissy fairy boy quarterback. So
he can't run. He's pretty slow. I have evidence from last year's New Year's.
Oh, well, that's just ridiculous. It's the scouts don't even measure straight line speed anymore.
It's who cares? It's like what's on tape? What's on tape? I don't care how you performed on the combine.
What does the tape say? And to be honest, my lateral quickness that night was, pretty amazing.
Some would say real zigzag worthy.
Oh yeah, my cuts were never better than that night.
I like the pun. Was that the cuts you got on your knees after you fucking ate shit?
That was the cuts that I got from my body eating shit on an asphalt road.
All right, so as I just said, top 5 countries you choose without extradition. So I'm going to set the scene. You have been an intelligence operative for the National Security Agency housed out of Washington, D.C., better known as capital of the country of the United States of America, the greatest on earth. And you realize they'd be doing something shiesty. So you hit a little bebop skedaddle, USB drive, quick download, and out you go. You're now famous for the WikiLeaks. Stop me if you've heard this story before. Now you're on the run from the United States government, and you have to pick 5 countries that you would like to visit. So I'm going to go first, and my first choice is the artist formerly known as West Samoa.
Samoa. Okay. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of countries that I could live with myself in this list. I'm going to go. My first pick is going to be North Korea. I'm just kidding.
Dennis Rodman.
So on this list is the Marshall Islands. I thought the Marshall Islands were under U.S. control. Are they not under U.S. control?
Well, that's one thing you should have Googled before waiting till now to ask.
I know. I just saw them. Okay. My first pick is going to be the Maldives. The Maldives,
Oh,
the tropical island of the Maldives.
Did you not? You just went there, right?
No.
No. Okay.
No. You're thinking about our time on Diego Garcia, which was close.
No. Where did you go where you sent the video of you eating shit on your back?
Oh, that was
St. Martin.
St. Martin.
St. Martin. Or St. Martin.
St. Martin. That was just St. Martin. That's in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going with, but I'm pretty sure they extradite. They don't.
Yeah, according to this list, they do extradite.
Ooh, I just thought of an interesting name. It's not on here though. All right, so you have the Maldives,
right?
And what's your next pick?
Oh,
I should put these picks in, huh?
Oof.
The Maldives.
I'll switch it up. Because I don't want to go with all island nations. There is a lot of island nations on this list. I'm going to go with Russia. If you're an enemy of the state of America, they have to treat you pretty well.
The enemy of your enemy is your friend, bro.
Right.
Like, it's an old ad. Look,
right.
If you've read The Art of War, then you know Russia is a very solid choice. Russia realistically should have been the number one choice, but I went very tropical. If you've never watched videos on Samoa and how beautiful it is, it would be such a simple way of life. Like, would be fantastic. So
no, don't get me wrong. The tropics are number one. Hence why you went Samoa, I went Maldives. Like, I'm not living in cold-ass Russia. But I'm just saying, number two, to be in an actual, like, first world country, and to be and to be embraced by people that despise the country you're running from. Like, you don't hear Snowden complaining. He's not like, "Oh, my Moscow apartment is so bad."
It's probably because he's getting sponsored by Russia,
right? And that's what I want. That's what I want. If I'm running from the U.S., I want to be sponsored.
All right. So the next country I'm going to take is going to be Nepal.
That's a good one.
I'm going to live in the mountains.
What does the U.S. have against Nepal? Like, what does Nepal have against the U.S.? China, maybe? Chinese influence?
It doesn't mean they have anything against them. It just means they don't send them the fuck out there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God, dude. Like, picturesque, beautiful pagoda-style houses in a snowy mountain backdrop. Like, you can't go wrong, bro. I'm about to climb Everest.
Right.
You better believe it. And then my very next pick, going back to the islands, baby. Give me Indonesia.
That's good. That's a good pick. That's a great pick. I'm going to go. Just fall off the couch. I'm going to go.
No, I'm sitting in my chair.
Yeah. Not like I did. Let's see. I'm looking at this list. I'm going to go. Oh, so many good choices. You know what? I'm going to go Serbia.
Serbia.
I feel like Serbia is a pretty good pick.
Okay.
And then I'm going back to enemy of the state. I'm going to China, right?
I would never go to China. Fuck that, bro.
I'm just playing this card of like I'm be treated like royalty.
I'd rather be in a U.S. prison than fucking China, bro.
Well, I love Chinese food, right? It can't be that different.
It's just called food there.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'll have to learn that when our Mandarin overlords take over.
Sorry, my older brother texted me. Family takes priority, you know?
Of course.
So let me just, recap the last two you picked. So you had China was the last one. And you took
Serbia.
Man, got a lot of cold countries here, brother.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the list, and there's any number of ways I can go right now. Right. Some of them I'm shocked you haven't taken.
Right.
The Vatican just cracks me up that it's on
I just love that.
Like, I don't want the Vatican.
Right.
So I don't want to go there, but it just cracks me up that it's on there. So I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go tie this in because this is a professional podcast, right? I'm gonna take Morocco.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Shout out semifinalist. Great food, picturesque country. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Spain. I'm pretty sure I can get in without checking my passport and then dip out again. Yeah, so I'm going Morocco. And then for my last and final pick, oh, dude, there's just so many options here, bro. There's so many options, so many. Let me pick a good footballing country. Well, relatively good because none of the good ones are on here.
Right, Senegal.
That's what I was about to pick. Get out of my head. I'm gonna take Senegal and I'm gonna coach Mane to the World Cup.
Hell yeah. And make him not get injured. All right. I have a little bit of a conundrum right now. Do I go tropical or do I stay in a place that I've always wanted to visit in Europe, which I think is just Greece light?
Macedonia.
Yeah.
Macedonia, I had it on my list, and I would. So you got to go Macedonia.
I think I'm going to go Macedonia. Just the blend of history and culture that's in Macedonia. Maybe. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. People may tell me like, "Oh, Macedonia is awful," but
I mean, I've never been. But so let's see. Macedonia most commonly refers to North Macedonia,
right,
a country in southeastern Europe. Known until 2019 as the Republic of Macedonia, right? Yeah. Macedonia, the ancient kingdom, was a kingdom,
Philip the Great,
a kingdom in Greek antiquity. Macedonia, Greece, a traditional geographic region spanning 3 administrative divisions of northern Greece. So anytime you can get, you can waste away in the Balkans,
right?
I don't really see an issue with that. So I think I think North Macedonia is its own place, right? So and then Macedonia is its own place.
Well, I think so. What you're thinking of is I think Macedonia is called they call themselves North Macedonia now. The United States, because they don't recognize Macedonia, call it the former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia.
Okay, so I went to Wikipedia.
Okay,
shout out Wikipedia. I just donated them $10 because I use them so much in a year.
Right.
So here's what it is. Macedonia is a geographical and historical region of the Balkan Peninsula in Southeast Europe.
Right.
The boundaries have changed over time. Today, the region is considered to include parts of 6 Balkan countries. It is Greece, North Macedonia, Bulgaria, Albania, Serbia, and Kosovo. So
I'm picking two Balkans.
So on this country, it just says Macedonia on this list. So I guess you can reside in any one of those 6 little slivers of Macedonia. But for posterity, I'll put North Macedonia.
Okay, well, just say I want to live in Yugoslavia. I want to live in the former Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia. Just a fun name to say. I actually thought you were going to go Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Isn't that former Yugoslavia as well?
That's why I thought you were going to go that way.
Yeah, can I just put Yugoslavia and then that claims Serbia, Macedonia, Bosnia.
I put North Macedonia / Yugoslavia already.
Okay.
Now
Kosovo's on that list.
Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let me look
some interesting ones. Some honorable mentions. Afghanistan.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Bahrain, which is really interesting. Cameroon, Cape Verde, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Djibouti, don't ever go there.
The Ivory Coast, you missed that one.
The Ivory Coast, Kuwait, Lebanon,
Kosovo,
Madagascar, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia,
Micronesia is so big, like the fact
Right.
that
Right.
they'll never
That's
find
crazy.
me, bro.
They'll never find me. I'm just gonna go live on a friggin' island. I'm gonna go live on Yap. Montenegro, Mongolia. Jermaine already said Morocco. Myanmar.
I almost picked Mongolia like 5 different times. Mongolia is like, it's such like a slept on, like Mongolia is like a real developed country. It's got a dope like history. There's a vast range of tropospheres, pretty much. Like you can find deserts, you can find mountains, you can find all that shit. Like, and then maybe one day they'll rise up and defeat the Great Wall of China again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can only hope. That's our only hope at this point. Is for the Mongols to take the Mongols to take their rightful place on the throne.
Yeah, sorry. My brother and I are talking about Christmas gifts, and so I got my little brother a skateboard, and he was like, "Dang, I was gonna get him that," and I just laughed. I was like, "Get him a helmet. He's gonna need it."
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%, dude, 100%. All right, read the countries back to us, Jermaine.
Oh man, slander my little brother. All right, so I took Samoa, Nepal, Indonesia, Morocco, and Senegal. Very diverse climates, different atmospheres. You'll never know where I am. You'll have to play Where in the World is Jermaine Antonio Colon Mendez, Diego. And then Nick has the Maldives, Russia, Serbia, China, and bordering Serbia slightly, North Macedonia / Yugoslavia. Like, how you just pick that one? You just pick that one little area. Anywhere here, anywhere that does it extra.
I love Europe, and I guess that was the only Europe I got, so I'm gonna take it.
Are these countries that Germany did not conquer?
I think they had a little bit of issue in Yugoslavia. Yeah, yeah. I think they had a partisan uprising that they didn't really like in Yugoslavia.
So this list just makes me want to Google a lot of the countries I just don't know about. Like Oman.
Right.
I bet you Oman has. I'm shocked you didn't take enemy of the state Iran, bro.
Yo, dude, Oman gets hella pissed when you go into their territorial waters. That's all that I know.
All right, so Oman. Let's see.
And sometimes at like different points, even if you have like permission to be in their territorial waters, they'll get pissed at you.
Sounds like my ex-wife.
Damn.
Oman, officially the Sultanate of Oman. What a great name. Makes me want to go there. And
Yo, the Middle East is just goated for naming countries.
For sure, bro. Yeah, so southeastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. I bet you it's hotter than hell there, though.
Well, but that's all Middle Eastern countries, no?
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
They should have the World Cup there.
88.9% Islam. Do I have to convert?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
All right, let's see. Oh, I want to go. Oh, shit. I clicked on images and Oman makes me go, Oman.
Is there a couple of babes?
No.
Pull up, do a little screen share here.
Oh, yeah, I can do that, huh? Let's see. Present. Oh, share screen.
Give the people what they want.
Here we go. We'll go here. Boom. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, that is gorgeous.
Oman, the U.S. Department of State.
Where does it say that?
Second row on the left.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of here.
Look at this city built into the valley like that, dude.
Yeah, imagine fighting there.
Yeah, but if you were assaulting that place, you would easily win that. You have the high ground.
I have the high ground.
Yeah, fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm cutting all their legs off, bro. All right, now.
Dude, Muscat is supposed to be really nice.
Is Muscat in Oman?
Yeah, it's the capital of Oman, I believe.
Damn, I should have picked Oman. The one everyone wants to know.
Oman women.
Yo! Your boy Skinny P wants to
Oh,
readjust.
dude,
Right.
there. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm there.
I'm in, bro. I'm in. All she needs is a little moisturizer.
Jeez.
Uh,
So we got, yeah.
Honorable mention Oman. Oh, I forgot I'm sharing my screen. I went back. So let's see. I'll show the list real quick. Of dude, first of all, the fact that this website is called internationalman.com is hysterical.
Right. Yeah, and then the biggest one that we missed was Qatar. And because this is a professional podcast, let's move on to talking about Qatar a little bit more, Jermaine.
Absolutely. So as Nick alluded to, this is a professional podcast. Qatar hosted a little event. Some of you may never have heard of it. It spanned the course of, let's see, 30 days pretty much?
Yeah.
Roughly. Called the World Cup. And it's the world's game. That's what the World Cup is, right? Soccer is the most popular sport in the world. And there was, a final that took place on Sunday. France competed against Argentina for the richest prize in all of sports. And I'll just paint the picture. Ousmane Dembele fouls Lionel Messi very early in the game in the box. I would say 20-something minute mark. Nick will look that up for me. And Messi, because all he does is score penalties and everyone just sucks his dick. We'll get into that later. Messi scores the penalty and puts his country on top. 1-0. France is currently overrun in the midfield. They cannot get out of their own defensive third.
23rd minute, Jermaine.
23rd. I was off by 3 minutes. They cannot get out of their defensive third. Giroud has been exposed. Mbappe doesn't defend, similar to Lionel Messi. Obviously when you're that great on offense, you don't have to defend. See James Harden. See who am I looking for? I guess James Harden's the perfect example there.
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. And France finally starts making some leeway. Boom, turnover. 2 quick passes deletes the entire French defense. Argentina's off to the races, counterattack, beautiful through ball to Angel Di Maria, streaming down the left side, and he nets it. And arguably, Hugo Lloris should have blocked this shot. Did you see the replay from behind him? The ball barely went over his hip.
Right.
Barely went over his hip.
It's one of those ones that you kind of kick yourself for, I would feel like, as a goalie.
And France is down 2-0. And the whole time I'm complaining in the soccer group chat that Didier Deschamps needs to get his thumb out of his ass and make some substitutions. And now it's too late. We're down 2-0. He didn't make substitutions. Now, for those of you who are uninitiated in the sport, substituting in the 26th minute and the 30th minute is wildly frowned upon.
Yeah,
but if you were watching this game, it was the only answer. It was the only answer. It was so bad that Didier Deschamps decided to double switch. Can you give me the minute that the substitutions happened?
Yes.
I believe it was 38th or 40th. Double swapped. He removed
41st.
41st. Another 3 minutes off. He removed Olivier Giroud, right? The third place goal scorer for the Golden Boot at the World Cup. And he removed Ousmane Dembele, who was a non-factor, couldn't even get the ball, and he gave up the penalty. He brought in Koulibaly and Thuram, son of legendary Thuram. And the game shifts. You can feel France is kind of getting back into it, right? Mbappe moves to the center center of the field. Thuram starts closing down the side wings. Koulibaly starts closing down the other side wings, and France gets back into the game. France starts the second half giving up a pretty dangerous shot to Argentina.
Yeah.
But from there, the defending champs found that stroke, right? And sure enough, in the span of 90 seconds, Kylian Mbappe explodes into the game, nets a penalty, and then nets a gorgeous volley. That ball, he struck it coming down. The ball was just falling. He struck it just barely off the ground. Top right corner. No chance for Emiliano Martinez to get this save. Boom! 2-2. Tie fucking game. The crowd is going crazy. France is back in this. And is Messi going to lose the World Cup again?
I think they said 33 seconds between the goals.
Unreal. Kylian Mbappe, take a bow, young man. Take a bow. That was insane. Nick, can you find Kylian Mbappe's total goals scored across the 2 World Cups for me?
Across the 2 World Cups?
Yeah, in his whole World Cup career. I know we had a debate about this. We couldn't narrow it down if it was 12 or 13. If he scored 8 this World Cup, which everyone keeps saying, it would be 13. But I seem to keep seeing everywhere that people are saying he has 12. So, game on, right? Game on. They didn't score until the 80th minute, if I'm correct. If you looked at it, 81st minute, that was the first goal. And we have 8 minutes of stoppage time. From the 81st minute to the end of stoppage time, it was 2 world-class teams, 2 obviously the best teams in the world at present time, going back and forth, completely endangering the defensive side.
He has scored 12 at the World Cup.
See, that doesn't make sense. If he scored 5 in the first one and 8 in the second one, my math would put that at 13.
So he scored 4 in the first one.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know about this.
I don't know what to tell you.
I remember him having 5. That's why, whatever. We won the World Cup. Doesn't matter. So then we go into extra time. If you listen to this podcast, one of the bets we advised everyone to make was to bet the draw. Nobody saw it going 3-3, but you're welcome. To bet extra time, obviously. So if you bet extra time, you bet the draw. And then to bet whoever you wanted to win in penalties. So here we are. As I alluded to, nobody saw it going 3-3. Extra time starts 2-2. And similar to the battle fought in the first half, Argentina is dominating the first extra time. Doesn't net the goal. Can you tell me the third goal, the Messi's second goal, when that was scored? I believe it was in the
108.
So it was in the second. So
Correct.
Messi scores in the second half of extra time. And France has 12 minutes plus stoppage time to get the equalizer. And the crowd's going crazy. Who else but the captain of Argentina? Many argue he is the GOAT to net the deciding factored goal 3-2. And Kylian Mbappe says, "Hold my beer." Obvious handball in the box, and France gets another penalty. Mbappe from the spot to the same side he shot before. Boom. Tie fucking game. To end stoppage time, Kylian Mbappe dribbles through a fleet of defenders and is inside the box and could not get a shot on goal. If he would have made that goal, that moment would have been so historic. I was ready for it. I was watching him dribble through. Nobody could stop this man. Nobody was fouling him. No, nothing. There was nothing going on. Mbappe was through everybody and could not get a good shot off. We go to penalties. Chouamini and
Coleman
both missed penalties for France. Montiel hits the deciding penalty for Argentina to win 4-2. Emilio Martinez continues to build this legacy of a wonderful penalty shootout goalie.
I don't like him still.
Now, never mind the fact that Mbappe scored 2 penalties during the game. I guess we only want to talk about his penalty saving prowess when it's in penalty shootouts. Nobody likes him. This Argentina team is incredibly dislikable. They lack class and respect that you expect from football teams. Now, that does not take away from the fact that they played a hellacious 120 plus minutes. I mean, if we added up stoppage time, we're encroaching on 150 plus.
Right.
And Argentina was able to get it done. Messi now has his World Cup. And the rest is history. We still have not had defending World Cup. We still have not had repeat champions since, and we talked about this.
1962.
1962. I always say the 60s. I just can't remember the name. And Messi has officially extinguished the flame that is Cristiano Ronaldo in the GOAT conversation. And he's added the final piece to his trophy chest. And honestly, I'm more happy for Angel Di Maria than I am for Messi. I love how everyone loves to talk about Messi and everyone, you know how everyone's so biased when they paint these narratives.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. I mentioned it to some friends I was watching the game with. Any Argentina highlight you saw this World Cup, whether or not Messi scored the goal, would have the tagline Messi in it.
Yeah.
Like when Alvarez scored, it was like Messi demolishes defender. Argentina scores goal. It's like, well, hold on. Why are you not giving credit to the dude that scores the goal?
Yeah, exactly. So does Messi get credit for Alvarez's lucky skill goal where he kicks it off his shin where Messi didn't even touch the ball?
Probably not. That was probably luck.
Yeah, it was
luck. The papers probably said that was luck.
Yeah, Messi.
Did I just say the papers?
Messi draws defense.
Right.
Alvarez streaks to goal and scores. There we go. That's how they framed it.
Right. Messi, constant target of defense.
So I always find it comical how people will spin these narratives, right? And it's like, what was the latest shenanigans that I just sent, right? It's Maradona never won a Copa America. Pele never played in Europe, probably because Europe was racist at the time. Ronaldo never won the UCL, right? Brazilian Ronaldo.
And who gives a fuck if Pele didn't play in Europe in the 60s? Nottingham Forest was winning Champions Leagues in the 60s. Like, get fucked.
The Blackburn Rovers were relevant. Fuck off.
I think that 1862 Munich was a better team than Bayern Munich when Pele was going to play in Europe. So, yeah, miss me.
Cristiano never won the World Cup. All right, fair enough, right? But Messi never played in the Premier League, right? Never left the comforts of Barcelona.
No, he did. To go to the comforts of PSG.
Nobody counts Liga Un. Come on now. Get out of here. We're not counting that bullshit. But it's just, it amazes me the narrative that they paint, right? So, first of all, apologies to Chouamini and Coman. Despite what every American believes, the rest of the world is equally, if not more, racist than America. And it's blatantly obvious when you hear about all these fans and their racist shenanigans should a player blow it. And it's unfortunate. They aren't the only people who are going to miss penalty kicks. Won't be the first, won't be the last. But
I
it
think,
was
I think it was pretty ironic though that Bayern Munich came out in total support of Kingsley Coman, and that's fine. But Bayern, the Bavarian giant, supporting the German Football Association, a football association that has basically banned Mesut Ozil from doing anything in the country.
right, exactly. So Gundogan got racist abuse from Germany. Mesut Ozil, the same thing. Mkhitaryan played for Germany, correct?
Maybe.
Or is he Belgium?
I know Sammy Khedira faced a lot of
Khedira, Boateng.
yeah, Boateng, yeah.
Boateng, my goodness. The guy won a World Cup and people hate him. They ignore the fact that he played great during that World Cup, too.
I hate him not because he's black, but because he's an awful defender.
Now that he's old, but
he had one good World Cup.
Oh yeah, how dare he? How dare he have one good World Cup?
You don't get my sympathy because you had one good World Cup.
Are you fucking kidding me? Insert Mario Götze.
Why was he on this team?
The guy has done nothing ever since score one goal, and you laud that man. You throw yourself at his feet.
I love him. He can have my heart whenever he wants.
You see what I mean? People are fickle. Fans are fickle.
Because he's white.
It's the emotion of the sport, right? People forget that fans is short for fanatic, right? And if you look up fanatic and fanatical, right? Please read, understand suffixes, understand words shortened, understand country of origin. Please educate yourself. They are maniacs. That's what they are. And in soccer, they call them ultras. If you think ultras for club teams are crazy, see ultras for World Cup teams.
Right.
Now, I have a question for you, Nick.
Okay.
First of all, I'm pretty sure we already said it. Let me just congratulations to Argentina one more time for winning the World Cup. Hell of an impressive run. Awesome to see. Where does this game rank in the Parthenon of greatest games you've ever seen? Is it Parthenon or Pantheon?
Pantheon.
What the fuck's a Parthenon?
The Parthenon is the thing in Greece.
It's not the Pantheon?
No,
so
that's the Parthenon. The Parthenon is the thing in Greece.
That's the museum with the white columns and shit. Are we sure?
I mean, yeah, that's the temple to Zeus. Yeah.
The Parthenon is the temple to Zeus?
That's the Parthenon is the temple to Zeus. Yeah, in Athens, Greece.
Yo, are you sharing your? Yeah, dude, the Pantheon. Yeah, exactly. Tangent time, rabbit hole.
Yeah, rabbit hole time. No, I don't have it pulled up on my screen. That's just up here. That's just big brain energy.
Let's
Parthenon.
see.
Yeah, the Parthenon.
Parthenon. It is in Greece. Athens.
Mm-hmm. It's a former temple to Zeus, right?
I'm trying to find that.
If Hercules taught me anything.
I thought he went 0 to hero, bro.
He did, yeah.
Let's see. I'm not seeing who it's for. It replaced an older temple in Athena, which historians call pre-Parthenon or older Parthenon. Wow, way to go out on a limb.
Oh, maybe the temple of Zeus is different.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I was like, I wanted to give you the win, but I think you were wrong.
Yeah, the Parthenon is dedicated to the goddess Athena. Oops. Well, win some, you lose some, I guess.
I mean, you were close. So
Yeah.
what was I trying to say? Pantheon?
The Pantheon. So you asked me, where does this game rank in games? Are we talking soccer games or just any game?
Any game that you have ever seen or watched retroactively or read fondly about or or have delved into the historical significance.
Considering that none of these teams are my teams or I cared about any of these teams, this has to be a top 5 game I've ever seen.
Okay.
Of teams I don't care about. Because obviously I can say it's not, it's not top 5 of games of teams that I've watched or teams that I love. Like
how about this? Not just you, like in the scale of competition, right? So let me give some of the examples that my friends gave me. So before we get any further, I said this is the greatest game ever in the history of games because this was the World Cup. It was every country. 8 out of 10 French citizens tuned in to watch this event. 8 out of 10. Like, think about the millions and millions of people that tuned in. Yeah, right. Shout out The Rock. R.I.P. Black Adam. That tuned into this game.
4 billion people, right?
Exactly. It was the second most watched soccer event in history, bro.
What was the most?
I didn't read that.
All right.
Yeah, I saw the headline. I'm pretty sure I have it saved in my phone. I haven't gotten back to read it because I have a life and I've been dumb busy the last fucking just all of December. I can't wait to fucking take a break. But yeah, so I said it's the best. It was the world's game. They try to tell me Texas versus USC, the college football championship. I was like, I love that game. And the story it told with the 2 Heisman winners, they were going for the 3rd national championship. Vince Young gets snubbed. Texas comebacks and win that ridiculous barn burner of a game. They said the Warriors, the LeBron coming back on the Warriors 3-1. 28-3, miracle on ice. Like, I'm like, dude, none of these hold a candle to it because this was the world.
The 2010 World Cup final apparently is the most watched football game. One of the most watched.
And that was Spain versus...
that was Spain and the Netherlands, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, the Netherlands just can't catch a break, dude.
No.
So, like in the context of everything, like this meant more to more people and was bigger to more instances. It was the defending champs seeking the first repeat World Cup winner since 1962. It was Lionel Messi seeking the one trophy that has eluded himself. It was LeBron versus Kobe that we never got in the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? Like, Messi versus Mbappe was a true passing of the torch moment.
Apparently the 2010 FIFA World Cup final was the most watched.
Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah. Well, but now I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Officially.
I just the stakes, the gravitas to this matchup. Yeah, we could talk about whether or not FIFA fixed this final. I say yes. But can you think of anything that big, that impactful in as far as sports goes?
I don't. I think that you have a very valid point that I saw something that enraged me yesterday, and it compared. Oh, what did it? It compared an Argentinian moment to LeBron's block in the finals.
Oh, it was Emiliano Martinez last second block on Koulibaly.
Yeah. It compared that to the block, and I said no. LeBron could have blocked that shot, turned around, put the ball between his butt cheeks.
Made it disappear.
And then thrown it up into the basket. And I would still watch that save 400 times over. That save was the most impressive save I think I've ever seen.
100%. That save saved a country,
right.
cemented a GOAT, added a third star to a jersey, sent 5 million Argentinas into a frenzy at the parade today where they had to helicopter out the Argentina national team because fans were literally jumping off bridges to get onto the bus with the team. Fans are crowding Messi's home where he has to have police security to get his car through his motorized gate. There are literal videos of people opening up their balcony doors in Buenos Aires and recording a city vibrating. The energy was something else. It was truly unreal. It meant something to the millions and millions of that country. How can you tell me that this is not the greatest game? This is the greatest game.
Have you seen the video of the cyclist riding down the road in Buenos Aires when Argentina kicked to win it, right? So he has his phone out and he's like riding down one of the streets in Buenos Aires when the Argentinian dude is about to kick to win, and you just hear silence, and then you just hear like the place explode. It goes from like silence to like it just explodes in a second. I think I'm proving my own point here because I can't think of another game that was better than this. I mean, like you got to think like from the absolute domination. You went over it in the review. From the absolute domination that was the first half of Argentina, right? You're like, oh my God, Messi has this in the bag. And then in 33 seconds, it changes hands and it's 2-2. And then you're like, oh, now Argentina's on the back. And then Argentina scores one. And you're like, oh, God, well, there's no way France can recover now. 10 minutes later, France scores one. Then the save. Then the penalty kicks. It made me feel emotions of teams that I don't care about. And really, I wanted neither team to win. So, I mean, that's good in and of itself.
And that's what I was trying to explain. I stopped arguing. I'm not here to belittle people's experiences with other games. And I'm not saying other games weren't amazing. I'm not saying it doesn't make you feel like that USC Texas game I love. Speaking of, I mean, I'm literally wearing the goddamn Texas hat. That my team is France and France lost. And I'm sitting here saying this is the greatest game ever.
Yeah. I mean, like we put so much stock in the 7-1 drubbing that Germany put on Brazil in 2014.
Yeah.
That's still one of the greatest matches I've watched to this day. the only it's funny. The only games that I can say that have that have truly lived up to truly I can think of in my head. One of them is this last year when the Avs won. That was I mean that's because it's just the Avs winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and that's for you know?
For me, but the point that I'm trying to get to is that like if I think of games that have defined like greatest games of my like childhood or my life, the two that came to mind were soccer games, right? 2012, 2013, Bayern wins the Champions League over Dortmund. And 2014, Germany wins the World Cup final. Like that, like instantly, if I thought of greatest games in my life, those two games came to. Now it's probably because we're talking about soccer.
And you just watched an entire World Cup.
Watched an entire World Cup, but
yeah.
I mean, listen. This is very well known. Anyone who knows me and has listened to this podcast for long enough knows that maybe I remember those memories because my memories are so few and far between good ones when it comes to sports.
I mean, you had that awesome season with the Panthers. You just didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it did because it ended. But it's not good because it ended in failure.
How is being second place of 32 teams a failure?
It's just a failure.
How is winning the entire Northern Football Conference? What does NFC stand for?
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
National.
Yeah, I was saying completely. I was thinking North Macedonia still. National Football Conference. How is that considered losing? See, this is what I don't understand with fans, just in general. But nobody remembers second place.
Right. All right. So I got a question for you now.
All right.
Other than Morocco, well, actually, I won't take that away from you. Give me the team that surprised you the most, both negatively and positively, and the player that surprised you the most. And it can either be negative or positive.
Player that surprised me the most didn't reveal himself until the World Cup final. Actually, in the semifinal as well. But no, I don't know if I want to go with him. Let me see. Player that surprised me the most. Well, first of all, I'll go with team. I'll go with the team that surprised me the most, and that's none other than the United States men's national team, right? Much maligned history, just in the World Cup. For a country the size that we are, we don't necessarily present ourselves as well as we should. Now, many argue it's because most of our assets and resources are in the sports that generate tons and tons of revenue in this country, and I'd say, yes, that's a fair point. Soccer does not easily present itself to lesser, more, not as affluent families. So you definitely need to be able to pay to be in soccer. So we're not picking the cream of the crop. United States needs to look very diligently into an academy-style system. Very much so, like that these top European clubs have. See Messi at Barcelona. But there were questions about this U.S. men's national team. Now, we could talk all we want about Greg Berhalter, and I've exhausted my limits on that. But they didn't lose a game in the group stage. They played England to a 0-0 draw. And in that Netherlands game, despite the lopsided score, U.S. played well in that game. If it weren't for the midfield making two critical errors on back passes, that's a very different game. And if Pulisic nets that very first opportunity, we're talking about a different Netherlands-U.S. game.
Right.
So I was very impressed with what I saw from the U.S. men's national team. And let's not forget that the United States men's national team was the youngest team at the World Cup. I actually have the stat here. Let me pull that up for you guys real quick. 24 and a half. 24 and a half is the average age of the United States men's national team.
I hate thinking this, right? Because it does no good. But I think the U.S. men's national team won in spite of Berhalter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, imagine this team with Jurgen Klinsmann. Imagine this team with Bob Bradley.
Yeah, my problem with Greg Berhalter was the selections he made.
Completely changed from qualifying.
We took three forwards. Into the World Cup and struggled to score goals. Well, no fucking shit, Greg. You had fucking players playing out of position for the forward who had no business being there.
Why is Pulisic dribbling? Why are you giving the ball to Pulisic and letting him dribble? I think Pulisic's best position is a poacher.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. You put him in a poacher role and he will dominate.
I don't agree with that. I think he's much better facilitator than he is a false 9, if you ask me. If you ask me. And then most disappointing team, I'm going with Belgium. Now, yes, I've been carrying the burden of this cross for 10 years because I hate this Belgium team for whatever reason. I can't explain to you why I have such disdain for this Belgium team, but I'm constantly reminded about golden generations. That's something that soccer loves to talk about. It's when you come up with these all-world players at the same time, and therefore you should naturally just win a World Cup. And Belgium, opposite of the U.S., was the oldest team at the World Cup, 29.7 years old. And Roberto Martinez, I believe Roberto is his first name, made an error picking the guys that got him to the semis, last World Cup. You can't just pick the guys who got you there. You've got to reevaluate talent. You have to be honest with yourself. If they're not informed, you can't bring them. You brought Romelu Lukaku, and he literally missed easy goal after easy goal after easy goal in a game that decided your World Cup fate. So, hey, that's you cut your pie. That's what you got to take. So Belgium is the most disappointing. This will be one of the most talented teams to do nothing of consequence, in my opinion. In my opinion. Like I said, nobody remembers second place. So nobody cares that you got to the semifinals unless you're a small African country like Morocco. Now, what two teams do you consider in this?
My most surprising is Croatia. Right?
Continuously slandered.
I think everyone thought that Croatia was just going to go home. Croatia was just going to go home. They were going to take their, as you alluded to, golden generation of Modric, Perisic, that goalie they have who made the most saves in the World Cup.
Likovic.
Right.
Likovic, yeah.
Dragovic and Milanovic and
Perisic and Kovacic. Rakitic didn't play at this World Cup.
Right.
I mean, they subbed in that semifinal versus Argentina. The third place game. They played a lot of their younger cats, and the younger cats showed out. I actually think Croatia might be onto something. They might have some talent coming this next World Cup. I don't know if it's another semifinals run, but.
Right. I'm just saying, though, after the second place run in 2018, people were like, oh, that's just Croatia got lucky. They won a couple of penalty shootouts, but anybody can win those. And I'm glad to see Croatia come back, prove the doubters wrong, and move forward. My biggest disappointment, I'm going to give you two.
Ooh, give me. Oh, I know one. Never mind. Why did I ask this question?
Oh, I don't. That team is dead to me. All right. Well, obviously, if you guys listen to the podcast, I was disappointed in Germany. That was not one of my two teams.
Really? Okay.
No, not one of my two teams. England. I'm disappointed in England. This is not how you should have gone out of the World Cup. And England has already announced they're keeping Southgate on for the Euros. What a terrible decision.
Really? They've announced that?
They've announced that already. He will stay on and past the Euros, or until at least the Euros.
Wow.
And my second disappointment is Portugal. You can blame the ref as much as you want. You can do this, you can do that. You didn't play your best player for 140 minutes. The best, not your just best player, one of the best players in the world. Who, regardless of whether he doesn't play defense or he demands that the ball be ran or the offense be ran through him, is really good at doing that. and can get you a lot of goals doing that. And they moved off it. All because of some feud between him and the coach. Put that shit away, dude. It's the World Cup. Put your best 11 players on the field and play football.
If you watched that game, the difference in Portugal's attack from the first 51 minutes to the last 40 and change was so astronomically different. It breaks my brain that people legitimately said Portugal was better without Cristiano Ronaldo.
And don't tell me that, because Portugal scored 6 goals, that's why they're better. They beat a Korea team that shouldn't have even qualified.
No, it was Switzerland.
Was it Switzerland? Oh, Switzerland, yeah.
Switzerland played one of the worst soccer games I've ever watched, and nobody wants to talk about them just playing bad soccer. They want to talk about how Portugal was good, and that is not what happened in that game. Right. Switzerland was woefully unprepared, as Switzerland usually is after a group stage.
We said it. We told you guys. Switzerland does not advance.
Unreal.
They're not good at it.
So most surprising player for me, I'm going to go with 2 players. Tyler Adams for the U.S. men's national team. I was all about him being the captain. I did not see him doing what he did. Continuously making gigantic play after gigantic play after gigantic play for the U.S. men's national team was wild. If there was a break for the other team and somebody needed to get to that ball and stop the opposing team, it was always fucking Tyler Adams. Always. I thought it was phenomenal. Love to see it. He had a disappointing showing against Netherlands by not being there to sweep the ball out of the box, but such is life on counterattacks. And next, the player that popped the most to me that I had no clue who they were was Musiala. So Musiala for Germany, no clue who that kid was, but every time he touched the rock and did something on the pitch, wow, was he electric. I legitimately looked at him and said, okay, this kid's going to be a star. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I won't know. But I was very much impressed.
I think that's the issue, right? Because obviously I'm very familiar with Musiala. He's a Bayern cat. But that's the problem. He doesn't play that much at Bayern. So you would hear the whispers. You hear whispers around Bayern that he's the next, Robben. He's the next Ribéry. And at the World Cup, it's very exciting to be both a Germany fan and a Bayern fan, and to see what he can do. I'll take the chalk here, like I like to do. Kylian Mbappe. We talked 12 goals. The man's 23. If you would have told him before the final started that he's going to score a hat trick in the final and his team's going to lose,
he would have laughed at you.
He would have laughed at you, right? Anyone would have laughed at me if I would have said Kylian Mbappe scores a hat trick and they lose. The dude's on another planet.
Yeah. So for Mbappe, right? This is one of the stats that I'll read through here. While he's electric with the ball, right? This was talking about him playing without the ball and him making runs. The number is 58 on let's see, what's the name? Oh, progressive passes. So progressive passes, for those of you who don't know, I always forget the name of this, but progressive passes are passes that move the ball forward towards your attacking goal more than 10 yards and are completed, right? So you have to complete the pass. You can't just turn it over. Kylian Mbappe had 58, 18 more than any other player in the tournament. Right? Like, that's insane. That's insane that Kylian Mbappe has all that. And then, let's see. I think I can pull this up. So, second player ever to score a hat trick in the World Cup final. 4 World Cup final goals, already has the most in World Cup final history. Won the Golden Boot, became the first player to score 8 goals since Brazilian Ronaldo did it for Brazil in 2002. He's the 5th player to score in multiple World Cup finals. He's 23. It's insane.
He's breaking the record, no?
100. Not only is he breaking Klose's record, by the time he's done, it won't even be close.
That's it.
He's getting over 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's 20. The dude's 23. He can play what Ronaldo was 37.
Yeah, so he's playing 27 is the next one.
so he can
31, 35.
He can technically play in another 4 World Cups.
And potentially 39. We'll see. You have to, that's a different level.
We're giving him 3.
We're giving him 3. So 27, 31, 35.
His minimum amount of goals, which has been 4.
4.
Do quick math on that.
4 times 3 is 12.
That'll break Klose's record.
That'll put you at 24.
That's incredible.
That's 8 more goals than Klose.
Yeah.
So it's just insane.
Who's the record breaking signing for a European club from this World Cup? Or not record breaking. Who's the young kid that gets signed for a boatload of money from this?
Eno Fernandez for Argentina,
young player of the year or young player of the World Cup.
And I'd like to introduce Koulibaly. I mean, that dude was subbed in the semis. Impact. Subbed in the finals. Impact. You know what I mean? Like, he scored a goal in the semifinal. He came in the final and completely changed France's attack. I think he is one of the more slept on stories coming out of this World Cup because he didn't really play any other games besides the semi and the final.
Right.
So for him, he played the final group stage game because that was the game that Mbappe and just about everyone else sat. They lost 1-0 to Tunisia. And so that was the only game he played. And he didn't play with it wasn't even the full complement of starters because France was so injured. And then they had the flu in the final. Bro, that kid's impact in 2 of the most pressure-packed situations. And can you look up his age for me? What's his age? So just to talk about Messi, since we didn't spotlight him, obviously Messi is probably the best player of the tournament, right? If it's not him, it's Mbappe, and you just pick your poison. I'm going with Mbappe. Messi scored too many penalty kicks in it. Not that that's easy to do, but he scored more penalty kicks for his goals, so I'm going with Mbappe. So
Koulibaly is 24 and is this year also spearheading Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League.
Unreal, bro. Him and Mbappe, 24 and 23. Tchouaméni,
that's insane that he's 24.
Tchouaméni is also 23, if I'm not mistaken. You have Lucas and Theo Hernandez. Benjamin Pavard is still pretty young.
Yeah, and not playing and didn't play.
Dude, he started the first game, and Didier just went somewhere else.
Last World Cup, the wonder kid.
Dude, that goal he scored in the last World Cup, still one of my all-time favorite goals. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you talk about Tchouaméni, you talk about Jude Bellingham, you talk about Musala. I think the real winners of this tournament are the European giants who can now say, all right, we put these 21, 20, 22, 23, 24-year-old kids on the world stage in front of billions of people, and they shined. I have no problem sticking them in my starting 11 for a Champions League final.
Exactly. So let's get into some of the stats before we close the show. Some of the records that Lionel Messi broke on Sunday when he won the World Cup. So he has the most World Cup World Cup games played at 26. He has the most World Cup minutes played at 2,314, most Golden Ball awards 2, most World Cup goal contributions 21, most FIFA Player of the Match awards in a single World Cup 5, most goals in major tournaments, World Cup, Euros, Copa America 26.
He's also the only player to have scored in the round of 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the final.
Nobody wants to talk about. Everyone calls Cristiano Ronaldo Penaldo. Nobody wants to talk about that for Messi. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt. How you want to view it. It's still an incredibly difficult situation to score.
Half of his goals were from penalties. Oh, I meant to ask you this earlier. So we remember like the backlash that came from England because their African descended players missed the penalties.
Fucking racist.
I haven't heard a peep out of England after Harry Kane.
I told you.
There's been nothing.
America's the only racist country in the world if you let Americans tell it because they're fucking idiots. All right, so a few other stats. The number is 69. I love these number articles. They're always awesome. While it's still really difficult to truly quantify the value of midfield play, one of the closest indicators of an effective midfield player is the progressive pass, as I aforementioned earlier, right? The stats such as completed passes that move the ball towards the opponent goal at least 10 yards from its furthest point in the last 6 passes, or any completed pass into the penalty area, excludes passes from the defending 40% of the pitch. All right. Mm-hmm. So you have to be in the attacking 60% of the pitch, put the ball into the area, or give a ball that goes at least 10 yards from the furthest point in the last 6 passes. So if there were 6 passes and one of them 10 yards from the furthest pass in that 6 pass thing. At the 2022 World Cup, would you like to guess who led the World Cup in progressive passes? Completed, not received, because Mbappe was received.
Messi
is a good choice. Messi had 10. He had 10 completed progressive passes just in the World Cup final.
Okay.
But no, this player had 12 more than any other player. Would you like to guess a second time?
No, I would like for you to tell me.
Croatia's 37-year-old Luka Modric. This gives so much credence to Eric's argument about how absurd it was to say that Luka Modric was not one of the world's ever best midfielders.
Well, you won a Ballon d'Or, right?
That's exactly right. As a midfielder, Modric, fun fact. Do you know who led the 2018 World Cup in progressive passes?
Luka Modric.
Dude, it's ridiculous.
Gave Lewandowski his Ballon d'Or, goddammit.
He won the Golden Ball that year in the World Cup and then eventually won the Ballon d'Or that year.
Messi's winning the Ballon d'Or this year.
He always does. They look for any ways to give it. All right. So here speaks to your penalty situations in England, right?
Right.
Everyone thinks that England sucks at penalty kicks, right? They were 11 for 11, right? They missed 0 in game. They were 11 for 11. And until Harry Kane shot that 12-1. And he was 4 for 4 at the World Cup and World Cup history at large. The World Cup is cruel. Ronaldo, 0 goals in the knockout stages in his World Cup history. It's going to go down like that. 0.39. Do you want to guess what this 0.39 is for?
Amount of characters typed per second when they thought Rashford was stepping up to take the penalty.
Well done. No, this is something that you harped on coming out of the group stage. It is fewest expected goals per game of any team. Allowed the fewest expected goals of any team per game in the tournament.
Let's see how close that is to what I got.
That's Brazil.
That's Brazil.
Brazil allowed 0.39 expected goals against their defense and still couldn't advance to the semifinals.
Yeah.
2,754. That's the number of passes that Spain either made square, which means it's just sideline to sideline, or backwards. And they through the round of 16. Obviously, they didn't advance past the round of 16. Morocco sent them home, but the next closest, no other team had more than 2,364 passes total. They had 420 more passes backwards or square than any other team had total. They scored 0 goals against Morocco. Right? Let's see. I had another one. So Argentina leaves the World Cup with the biggest cumulative expected goal differential of any team in the tournament. They produced an expected goal differential of plus 10.76. Through 5 games, Brazil are second with plus 10.03 mark. And then in third, you've got Germany with 6.74.
It was almost staggering what the difference in goal differential between Brazil and their opponents were. In the Croatia game that you talked about, Brazil had an expected goals of 2.5. And Croatia had expected goals of 0.6. Soccer's brutal sometimes, man. All right. So give me your final verdict on the 2022 World Cup being held in Qatar in November.
I'm not a fan. This is not the time of the year to hold the World Cup. You deprive the fans of seeing many, 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 many great players, not just the ones I was speaking about for France. You degraded the quality of play because international teams didn't have the 45 to 60 days to train prior to the World Cup, so they weren't all on the same page. And honestly, I think a lot of that is, in my mind, puts a little asterisk next to Argentina. Like, what happens if this was played in the summer? Right? But this lends itself, and it's not Messi, it's not Argentina, it's not France, because France would have had the asterisk too, especially with the match fixing that you and I both suspect took place to get France and Argentina into this game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There was some shenanigans afoot. But it just lends itself to the complexity of these world type events. Instead of people treating it as a love letter to the sport for everyone and all to enjoy, including the LGBTQ plus community, including the alcoholics of the rest of the Western countries, you put agendas, politics, greed ahead of all that. And, that was back-to-back World Cups where you had the shenanigans afoot. 2018 in Russia should not have happened. 2022 in Qatar should not have happened. And that just lends the importance of these games that much more. Right? You aren't just playing for a trophy. You are playing for entire nations, for geopolitical power, for political expertise. You're playing for influence, right? And that is why, as we discussed and debated earlier in this show, this final was that much bigger. This final, when it was all said and done, was able to eclipse the migrant workers and all the public backlash of that because it was that good.
FIFA could not have landed more squarely on their feet.
Yes, 100%. And that's what's so crazy about that game. For 120 plus minutes, you forgot about the politics of it all. You forgot about the migrant workers. You forgot about the bribery scandal. You forgot about the corruption. You forgot about the
2 days prior, no love armbands or no one love armbands.
2 days prior, no beer. You forgot about the death of Grant Wall, which many suspect is foul play, which is pretty easy to give someone an aneurysm if you look up the medicine behind it, right? Since we wanted to trust science when COVID was going on, let's trust it now, right?
He had pre-existing conditions.
And so this is that one game, that 120 minutes plus was able to eclipse all that. And that in itself is the love letter to soccer. That is the love letter to competition. That is the love letter to unity and love itself. That's how brilliant this game was. So with that, I don't think we can wrap it up any better. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Podcast Room303. I've been your host, Jermaine Colon Mendez. This has been my co-host, Nicholas Moorhan. And as always, we have with us Ulysses Kane.